Hey guys, dating life going pretty shitty?
I find you so creepy I think you should have to walk around with a bell around your neck.
Finding yourself getting a little desperate for some female companionship?
Alexa, tell me you love me.
Hell no. You disgust me.
What you need is to upgrade your style right now. The Toxic Store's got exactly what you need. Pick up some stylish gear featuring Deviant Gamer, Toxic Radio, and the Heavy Metal Happy Hour.
Oh, yeah!
You can find the store through the Toxic Radio app or toxicradio.net. Get in the game.
Do I make you horny, baby?
Get yourself a little love.
That guy's getting boobies.
Yeah, he is.
Toxic Radio and the Toxic Store. Don't buy it safe. Buy it toxic. Once every generation, there comes an event that alters how we perceive our world. That changes our expectations of what is possible. This is not really one of those events. But hey, Toxic Radio has a brand new studio, and that fucking rocks. So join us in celebrating our excellent new home. Toxic Radio. Awesomer than ever before. What? That is so a word. Like listening to Toxic Radio?
Goddamn right.
Well, don't forget, this is the 21st century. Join us in the social media world. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pornhub.
Pornhub?
Nah, just kidding. Or am I? Toxic Radio. Get infected.
Hungry for Hope Nation. Your host Donnie Hart here with our other host, Big Time Tim Gorgeous. Got the voice of an angel, Tim, and we're joined by us. So pumped to have this studio. There's a big fight coming up on Saturday at the ECW Arena in South Philly. We got Joey the Tank DeVecco here. Joey, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Joey, thanks for coming. I know the weather's crazy. You got to fight, man. We just want to thank you again for being here.
No problem, man.
How does it feel? You got your fight Saturday. Before we introduce you, you got your fight Saturday. You got a little.
Yeah.
You've been off for a little.
Yeah, I've been off for a year, pretty much. March 7th of last year, I fought, and this is the first time I'm back in the ring, so I'm happy. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, you got it. I know it's a passion of yours, man. That's the one thing that stands out. This is, you support your family. You're a good family guy. You use boxing. Not having it for a while.
Yeah.
It's probably, came on you a little. You're probably excited to get in there and finally do what you love.
The pandemic, it's crazy, but it gave me some time to really think about what I wanted, you know what I mean? And it was I realized that how much I missed boxing over the past year, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they say if you get something you love taken away from you, that's when you find out. I think I'm getting all philosophical. But, I'm a young Shakespeare. But that makes sense. And how cool is it? Like, how does it feel, this card, you've been off for a year, and now you're back in, you're from Tacony, Northeast Philly, people know the area. But you're in South Philly at the ECW Arena. How does that feel?
It feels great, man. Being back in front of my fans and my family, you know what I mean? It's what I need right now. It's good. I sold a lot of tickets too, so yeah, it's cool.
Me and Big Time Tim, we're gonna be there.
Awesome.
We're pumped.
I'm excited. I haven't been to a live event since we were in some warehouse watching pro wrestling with like 50 people.
That was nuts. Me and Tim went to this pro wrestling. I used to do pro wrestling. I told you we went to this pro wrestling match in next to the Electric Factory in Philly.
Oh yeah.
It was this little bar, and they put a ring in the middle of the bar.
Yeah, voltage, right?
Voltage.
Yeah. I used to bounce there. That's crazy.
And it was a big wrestling promotion. They had people jumping off the top, the balcony.
Yeah.
Yeah, they put a wrestling. What do they have? The PBR and the fireball shot there. That's why.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah. But we're gonna have Tim. We're just gonna ask you some questions.
Awesome. So we're talking about you getting excited, getting back into the ring. You started boxing young. You had amateur championships.
Mm-hmm.
you've been boxing for a while now, but what introduced you to the sport? What got you involved?
So, my grandpa, Terry Tobin, he took me to the legendary Blue Horizon. It was a local Golden Gloves fight, little amateur tournament, and I just turned to him and I was like, "Can I go to the gym? Can you take me to the gym?" And that next summer, I turned 10, and he took me to the Harrogate Boxing Club. Charlie Skrillo was my first coach, and I basically never looked back. I played one more year of baseball, and then after that, it was just all boxing.
Yeah, you came up with like Danny Garcia. I always see pictures of you and him as kids, stuff like that.
Me and Danny pretty much grew up together.
With Billy Patton, I saw him.
Yeah,
he's a good dude,
Billy,
man.
Yeah.
So you first saw it at the Blue Horizon? I think we have a picture for people who don't know. We have a picture of the Blue Horizon. That's where you first saw your first like pro fight, or
no? It was an
first
amateur fight. Yeah, it was the first amateur fight, and even then I was like, man, this is awesome.
That's like that's a great play. That's like the boxing legacy there.
That was the
Blue
best.
Horizon.
That was the best.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw Billy Patton. He trained you. I
never worked with Billy, but
you just know him. I know I've seen your name come up with him. He's
in Philly. You know what I mean?
He's a good dude. He's in the hospital, I think, right now. We'll send prayers out to him.
Yeah,
but
get well soon.
Yeah, but you talk about these people getting into it. Who were your inspirations growing up at first to get boxing, anything, and just in life, bro?
Well, my grandpa, he was the one that kind of introduced me to boxing. So he would take me to the gym. When I first started, I would go once a week, and I was like, man, I want to go every day, you know. So he would take me, but he kept me in the gym. He was a real big inspiration to me. And then when I was 13, my mom passed away.
Sorry to hear, man.
And it kind of shifted a little, and after she passed away, the first national tournament that I went to, I kind of like dedicated it to her, and I won. So I was like, you know what, this is like, I'm on to something here. You know what I mean? So she was a big inspiration to me.
So you fight in her honor, man. I've been there. I know how to. Actually, I just celebrated my brother's 7th year. He passed away tragically.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I could feel, it's a parent, but a brother. He was kind of like a parent to me. He was my older brother. And for me, it took a different. I did pro wrestling at the time, and I was like just hitting my stride.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing a little shit I probably should, a little lost, but I was almost there. I was about to be the next big thing. I really was, and then he died. And some people take that as motivation to do better, but at the time, I just wasn't prepared mentally,
right.
And it was my downfall. How do you treat that? It's tragic losing a parent at 13, right?
Yeah, I was 13. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know any better. You know what I mean? So it was tough on me because I was lost. I was only 13 years old. I had no like guidance. You know what I mean? My stepdad was around and my grandpa was still around, but myself, you know what I mean? I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, man. Even watching your fights here and hearing about you, Tim's always spoke highly of you. I feel I get that, like you're fighting for something bigger than yourself. Do you ever feel like that? It's bigger than just you. It's for
Yeah. Well, now I have a family. You know what I mean? I have a family of my own. I have a fiance, Maria, and I have 4 kids. You know what I mean? I have 4 daughters. So that's my inspiration now. This is what makes me do what I do.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Who inspires you now?
Yeah, it's my family, my kids, my fiance. You know what I mean? It makes me go harder every day to what I need to do because I don't want them to have a life that I lived growing up. My life wasn't bad growing up, but there was a lot of things involved with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I never want to tell my kids no, and I never you know what I mean? Like it's just that's how I feel. I never want to tell my kids no, so. In a way, I kind of spoiled them a little bit, but
you're just doing anything so they don't have to.
Exactly.
You went through some hard times.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we do it. Like I share my story, and it's some of my most embarrassing, saddest, tragic moments. But I do it not because I want to, but because I know it can help people. People see
definitely.
you, a kid from Tacony, lost his mom. He's a family dude. Everybody, we've had people commenting right now. They said you're one of the most humble guys you ever met.
Cool,
a couple of your buddies, and people seeing that can inspire. You don't know what people are going through. Somebody might be down and out, and they'd be like, "Oh, the Tank can do it. Maybe I can."
Yeah,
doesn't have to be boxing. We all, you're your big thing, your goal might be the heavyweight title, but somebody else might be, you know, getting off the streets or battling whatever they're battling. Everybody's battling something.
But yeah, a lot of this show is based off learning from tough lessons, right? So what was a tough lesson you learned early in your career, in your boxing career, and then how did you overcome it?
So early in my boxing career, like I turned pro when I was 19, and I thought I had it all, you know what I mean? And I realized like my career at that time, it wasn't what I thought it would be. Like when I was in the amateurs, I was a top amateur. You know what I mean? I was winning national titles and a world championship and everything, and I was thinking like, man, I'm gonna be like a big time pro. I'm gonna be a millionaire. You know what I mean? And then when I turned pro, I made like $800 in my pro debut, and I was like, what is this? You know what I mean? This isn't what I planned. But just after that, I was working. I couldn't really train at the gym, so I was taking fights on short notice, like for no money at all, and not even training for the fight. You know what I mean? And that was a big lesson that I learned back then. You know what I mean? And I kind of fixed it because when I signed with my my manager, Mark Ciparone, he changed everything about that. You know what I mean? So he basically gave me the way to train and do the right things for my career.
Yeah, I remember you won one of your biggest fights on short notice. I remember you called me. You're like, "Should I fight Derek Rossi in like a week?"
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
So this was crazy, because I got offered to fight Charles Martin on like a week notice. It was in California. They called me. They said, "Joe, I got a fight for you." I said, "All right. Well, how much am I making?" He said $3,500. I said, "I'll take it." You know what I mean? He didn't even tell me who it was yet, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll take that." So then he told me whatever, and then I wound up losing the fight. Like my corner stopped the fight. That was the only fight that like.
He was a former world champion.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I fought him before he won the title, but still.
Yeah.
So I told myself, I was like, I'll never fight another fight on short notice. Like, I always put a full training camp in. So the very next fight, it was in January. I fought Charles Martin in November. They offered me to fight Derek Rossi in January, and I was like, yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, but they added like 2 more zeros to that 3,500.
No, man. I didn't even make. I don't even think I made that much. I think I made $3,000. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say your toughest lesson was signing a boxing 360, though.
Well, I mean, that could have been. That could have been.
That sounds like a story for a different.
Yeah,
different time.
But you did mention when you got into boxing, you felt like you were a big deal, right? Getting
in the amateurs, yeah.
Yeah, I went through that. You know, when I did the pro wrestling, I started like signing autographs. I'm getting paid to do something. Was a dream. Everybody told me, you know, grow up, I'd never be able to do it. I don't know. I'm sure you heard these things when you have aspirations that are bigger than what people think. You don't want to be a lawyer or something. You want to be a professional athlete. Yeah. People are saying, you know, it's time to grow up. So I know when I finally got to my first pro wrestling match or involved in pro wrestling, I had this like, I told you all. And then I kind of got a big head a little. Did you get like a little, you know?
No,
that's hard. You know, we all have egos.
Yeah. No, it's not that I really had a big head, but it felt like I had an image that I had to upkeep. You know what I mean? Like they were looking at me like I was a big amateur, so I had to stay like that. But I didn't realize like I was only hurting myself because it made me think like that I could just get the opportunity and not have to do anything for it. And I mean, if anybody's listening now, like a young pros coming up, that could be a message to them. You gotta put the work in to do it, because nothing's gonna come to you.
Yeah, like that's probably, you know, some people are relieved they get to the pro. That's probably when it gets. That's when you got to really dig down deeper, I would assume.
Listen, the amateurs, like I had fun in the amateurs. Yeah. I was traveling to different countries, all over the U.S. You know what I mean? And it didn't feel like it was a business. Once I turned pro, I realized it was a business.
Now how was that, man? You're just a local dude, just a good local dude. Now you're traveling the world, the country, boxing. How was that? You're young, what, 19, 20?
Yeah, I was when I turned pro, I was 19.
Yeah, how was that, you know?
I mean, it was great. Like, if it wasn't for boxing, I would have never made it out of Philly. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I only went down, like, Wildwood a couple times. You know what I mean? Like,
Wildwood days.
Yeah, like, that would have been the furthest I've went.
I've been in a couple fights in Wildwood. They weren't pro, but echoes, man. But so you said, how is it for our listeners who might not know, going from amateur to pro boxing? How's that transition? Is it hard? How did you become a pro for our listeners?
So, you know, it's a big transition, and people don't realize it. Like, the amateur style of fighting, like, I was fighting 4 2-minute rounds. So it was a faster pace than what a professional would fight. You know what I mean? So it's a hard transition for an amateur, a good amateur coming out of the amateurs turning pro, because you're not used to the longer round. Well, they switched it now, but you're not used to the longer round when I was coming up, and it's just hard because like the pro style is so much different than amateur style, you know. So.
And you were a pretty big prospect coming out. You were
Yeah. I mean, I won 14 national titles and then a world championship in 2008. So
how was that winning the world championship? You just talk about it like it's like world championship.
Yeah. It was great, man. It was
how old were you?
I was 18.
18.
Yeah.
You were the world champion. Where was it at?
In the amateurs. I was down in Guadalajara, Mexico. Team USA had we had Earl Spence on the team. Luis Arias, Robert Brandt, they're all like world champions, you know what I mean? And it was just a great group of coaches and guys that went down there. I won the gold, and we had 2 bronze medalists. And it was just great, man. I was 18, I was fighting every day, and it was like, man, this is awesome, you know?
That must have been a great experience. You name all these guys, they're world-class fighters. Mm-hmm. You've been with a lot of big names in the heavyweight division. Who was your toughest opponent, would you say, in the heavyweight division?
My toughest opponent is always myself. But
great answer.
Yeah, fighting Brian Jennings was probably the best fighter I fought, and he was the toughest. He had good defense, hard to hit, good movement. He was great shape. And then another one was Frank Sanchez. He was my last fight from Cuba.
Good fighter.
Yeah, I didn't.
Where'd you fight him at? Not Cuba.
The Barclays Center.
Oh, in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big ass arena.
Yeah, it was big. Yeah, it was on Fox. Like it was on Fox. But I planned to fight him a different way. Like every fight that he fought was completely different than how he fought me. You know what I mean? So my game plan going into that, it wasn't what he was like bringing. You know what I mean? so it was a tough fight.
Yeah, man.
Tough fight.
Who's training you for this fight?
Greg Hackett.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Now, if you could go back and fight anybody again, of any of the opponents you had in the past, who would it be?
Charles Martin. Just to kind of get that back, you know what I mean? Because I fought him on a week notice, not training one day at all. I would put in a full training camp, and I'm pretty sure I would beat him now. You know what I mean? I want to get that one back.
Yeah, I mean, you had that draw a big baby, too.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll ever fight again.
Who's Big Baby? You guys are speaking French. Who's
Jarrell Miller.
He was the one who was supposed to fight Joshua before Ruiz, but he failed drug tests and then just continuously
failed the drug test.
And then continuously did.
Yeah. He just I think he just got another 2-year suspension.
Yeah.
So, but like I fought, I think I forget my record when I fought him. I think I was 7-1, but he was 4-0 coming up, and he had all 4 knockouts. And it was a good fight. It was in Connecticut, so.
Is that the casino out there, Mohegan Sun? Another one?
Yeah.
That's nice, man.
Yeah, man, I love it.
There's some nice places.
Yeah.
I was wrestling in like backyards, not backyard, VFWs. I did a couple big arenas, but
the Voltage.
Cool, the Voltage. That's crazy, man. Now I know you mentioned your family. That's all I hear about. You're a real family guy. You're a neighborhood guy. You're just a blue collar hard worker. Just you make your money off boxing. You do it real good, and you put all the work and effort into it. But what drives you to train every day, preparing for your fights? What drives you? Besides, I know your family. What else?
I mean, basically, it's like my kids. You know what I mean? I can't. It feels like I can't do enough for them. I want to make sure they're happy every day, and that's what drives me. When I wake up, like that's what I'm thinking about. You know what I mean? When I go to bed, that's what I'm thinking about. So it is my kids.
That's powerful, man. I don't have kids, but my brother passing, unfortunately, was the thing that drove me to do bad things and fuck up and all that good stuff. But it also has been the greatest thing that drives me, even when I'm feeling tired and I want to give up or whatever. Yeah. His memory, his life, that's what drives me. And people can do amazing things when they have something they're really fighting for, like your family.
Yep.
That must be. I'm sure they're proud of you, man. Do your girls watch the fight?
Yeah. They have.
Got a good picture of you up there.
Yeah, that was me versus Brian Jennings.
Yeah.
That was a good fight.
Brian Jennings, you like him or?
Yeah, no, he's a good guy.
Good dude.
Guy, yeah.
I think he's fighting
Rivas
again.
Yeah, he's actually fighting for the Bridgerweight.
We can't mention that title on the air.
Oh, really? We had what do we have? We had Ed Lattimore. You know Ed Lattimore at all? He's a good dude. We had him on the show.
Okay.
And they started talking about this boxing division. What are you guys talking about?
The Bridgerweight division.
The Bridgerweight.
I was like,
what do you think about that? That'd be good for you, probably. Tim said.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to lose some weight, but.
And what is it? It's like I guess it's the bridge between.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
I remember one time you were on Facebook saying you were going to drop down to cruiserweight.
Yeah, I mean that was always a thought, but.
What's your size, Joey? How tall are you?
5'10", like 250.
You're like a fucking tank, man.
Yeah,
That's what
I'm a tank.
You're a tank, man. I love it. Yeah, that's good shit, man. But yeah, we had Ed Lattimore. We had a couple who had Witherspoon Jr.
Yeah,
nice.
We do a little boxing, man. We do all inspiration. We're just really looking for people in the community doing good things.
That's awesome.
Maybe people overcome stuff, or just people, just fucking hardworking guys who do good shit, man. But Tim,
let's talk about boxing for a second.
Yeah.
So it's popping up everywhere, right? There's all sorts of exhibitions now going on. That seems to be the big money. You got Tyson Jones Jr. That was great. It was great to see Tyson back in the ring. Yeah. But now they're talking Chavez Jr. versus Camacho, or Chavez Sr. versus Camacho Jr., Morales Barrera.
Yeah, Cotto and Marquez.
Yeah, I saw that.
Just seen that today.
What are your thoughts on all this? Kind of taking the shine away from the up-and-coming guys, bringing more attention.
You know what? They had their pay-per-view days. You know what I mean? So I guess they kind of feel like they have to be back in the light. I guess. You know what I mean? So.
I mean, Tyson's still breaking records pay-per-view.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, man. He got himself together, got himself in shape. So I guess it's like a big inspiration for them.
Yeah, I mean they're talking him and Holyfield. $25 million offer? I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, nobody knows what Mike is worth right now anyway, so $25 million is $25 million,
I'll fight him for 25. Fuck it.
And on the other side of the spectrum with that is you got the YouTube guys coming in. They're selling tons of paper. I'm hoping Ben Askren knocks this kid out.
So listen, I was in California. I trained out in California from 2015 on, and they were in the gym the one day. And I'll tell you what, if anybody coming into the gym didn't know who they were, they would think that they were real fighters.
Really?
You know what I mean? They came in like they worked out, they sparred, they did what a real fighter would do in a typical training day, and you couldn't tell the difference. Like, I've been in boxing forever, and I was like, man, these guys are like really working hard. So I'm not taking nothing away from them. They have a huge following. You know what I mean? I'm a fan of the Paul brothers, just because like anybody could say, oh, meet me in the ring and we'll settle in there. But they actually took the time out to train. They actually took the time out to learn how to fight. You know what I mean? So they did it the right way, and they kind of, instead of talking shit like everybody else would do, they really did it. You know what I mean?
Plus talk shit.
Yeah, plus talk shit.
I guess they could sell pay-per-views.
They could.
What do you think of their boxing skill? I did notice the Paul brother. They look like they like you said, they put in the work.
They're not bad.
They're not bad.
They're not bad.
You know, I'm not a pro fighter, but from the outside, man, I thought I was pretty impressed.
Yeah, Jake Paul, BJ Flores is training Jake Paul,
Right.
and I think he's perfect for him because he has him really looking good. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I guess you gotta see him actually fight a fighter though, instead of fighting a basketball
that's true.
player. And
That's true. That is true. But I don't know. I'm on their side, man.
So you don't like. Sometimes I know like in pro wrestling, everybody says they're a pro wrestler nowadays.
Yeah.
They wrestle in a backyard on a mattress, and they have some trainer who's nobody. And I was taught, I attack these guys. I don't like them. If I get in the ring with them, I want to hurt them. That was just how I was brought up. They're disrespecting our sport. They're calling themselves a pro wrestler. They're coming out wearing out of shape, wearing fucking t-shirts and whatever. They didn't get the right merchandise, the gear.
Right.
They didn't get the proper training, and they're going to call themselves something I've given my whole life to, something I blood, sweat, and tears. I'm trying to do this for my family, and I wouldn't be nice to them. How do you feel? Are the Pauls respecting the sport as a pro fighter? You think they're respecting it, or?
So the way that they train and the way that they prepare themselves, yes, they are respecting it. The fact that they're talking the shit that they talk, that could be against it. But you got to understand, like, these guys are rich anyway, right? They're not doing it to make money. They're basically doing it for fun. So you got. I don't know. I respect it. They bring attention to the sport. Like, nobody likes them. You know what I mean? So
nobody like Mayweather either.
exactly. I was just gonna bring him up. Like,
I don't like Tim, and I do a show with him. Like, it doesn't matter.
I don't like him.
I don't even like him. But yeah, I get that from them. I feel like, it's 2021. They got this new thing, that the YouTube. You can, we've had people on who made millions off YouTube, and I guess that's just a different world. You wouldn't have seen that shit back in the 90s or even when you started. So as long as they're respecting, in my opinion, like you said, they're training hard. They're actually dedicating themselves to the craft. They're learning about it. They have proper trainers. No, I guess I wouldn't mind personally. It's just cool hearing it from somebody who's a pro fighter.
Yeah, maybe it would have been different if I didn't actually see them in the gym training. You know what I mean? Maybe I would have been like, they're not real fighters. But I literally seen them in the gym.
And where was that at again?
In California.
In Cali.
Yeah, Fortune's Gym in California.
Is that where they train all the time?
No, they actually just came there for sparring one day.
I saw him with Jorge the other day. I always say his name.
Masvidal.
Yeah, Masvidal.
Oh yeah.
I saw him training with him, and it looked pretty impressive. It was
That's a good gimmick because he's
that's
master.
just I think it's just for publicity.
I mean, he is boxing the MMA fighter with the least amount of hands ever that you could have found.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, who else would have fought him?
It's a step up from a basketball player.
Yeah,
so now it's progression. I'm just throwing amateur boxing out the window.
He was a pretty good basketball player, though. Let's be honest. What was that guy's name? The dude who lost.
Nate Robinson.
I'm
not even gonna make fun.
The New York Knicks.
Yeah, beat my ass. So
I was shocked on that, man. I thought it was gonna be more like a show. I didn't think it was really gonna be him out there.
Yeah.
Now you watched the Tyson fight. You said, how did you feel about Tyson?
I mean, it was Mike Tyson.
How about Roy Jones? We had Ed Lattimore. I said on the show, he was Ed was his sparring partner for the fight. So he gave us. He said they took it serious too, though.
Yeah, I mean, even though they're fighters by nature, you know what I mean. Even though it was an exhibition, they probably really trained like it was a real fight. And Jones, I mean, even though Mike Tyson's 54 years old, he still had to train like it was a real fight.
Right, I just think they kind of robbed everybody out of a decision. That was the tough
well,
part of it.
I mean, I knew beforehand like they weren't going to announce a winner. You know what I mean? It's just an exhibition anyway, so there is no winner in an exhibition.
Yeah, you know what I did? I told these guys the same thing. Tim has a boxing background. I don't knock that. He's one of the best boxing minds I know. But I have the pro wrestling background. Mm-hmm. Pro wrestling, not fake. Don't say the word fake.
Right.
But it's predetermined. It's a gimmick. Mm-hmm. So I looked at that as like a pro wrestling match. I was like, the only thing that makes sense for these two guys to agree to this is if they're going to have a tie.
Yeah.
So I bet the hell out of the tie.
Yeah.
And people were mad because I think they messed up the tie. It didn't look like a tie, but I think they made that, my opinion.
I can't believe they actually had a line on it. Like, I knew from, like, I didn't even realize.
I bet it on DraftKings.
Yeah. I didn't even realize I could have bet on a tie. I would have did that too.
Yeah, I won a lot of money off that.
Yeah, I would have did that too.
Was it your typical like draw line? Because it's normally plus 25.
Yeah, something like that, right?
I don't know what it was, man. I did good though.
If that was the case, I would have put like $1,000 on it.
And a lot of people are mad because if you watch it, did you think Tyson won if you were watching it? Did you think Tyson won the fight?
I mean,
or it's
I
hard
don't
to
know.
judge.
I didn't really judge it.
Yeah. Now you're a Tyson guy. You grow up. You know, I know I love Tyson. He's just another guy. You know, he came from nothing. He just hit hard and
my
fought his way.
mom loved Mike Tyson, so I guess I was a kind of Tyson fan only because of her.
Now your mom was a big boxing fan.
Not necessarily. She just loved Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? In the '90s, everybody loved Mike Tyson. So,
dude, I love Mike. You know, I know we're not there yet, but I actually reached out to a mutual friend, and you know, he's like the guest I want, man. I love all of our guests, but Mike Tyson, you know, sometimes I shoot big.
Yeah.
And, you know, I reached out to a mutual friend, and I think he's misunderstood a lot of times. He's a lot smarter than people think, man. He was taken advantage of, too, I feel like.
That documentary that came out, like, a while ago, Tyson, like. Yeah. And I watched it, and the way he explained the fight with Holyfield and how Holyfield kept headbutting him, and he said,
I went back to the street, right?
Yeah, he said, I just want him to feel the pain that I was feeling, and it kind of, I was like, man, like that's real, you know what I mean? Like he was hurt in the fight, and he just wanted him to feel the pain that he was feeling from getting headbutt.
That's why I kind of was rooting for that exhibition to happen. I wanted to see Mike get that one back.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what though? Holyfield, I mean, he still looks great too.
Well, yeah, he almost won that title against that, like, what was it, 6 foot?
Yeah,
no, 7 foot
yeah,
Russian.
Yeah, Nikolai Valuev.
Yeah, but does he not want to fight Tyson, or?
He said they offered Tyson $25 million. I don't think Holyfield could come up with a camp for a $25 million offer, but. You know,
your buddy Rich said he'll fight you for $25 million. Rich Biaggia, am I saying? He said I'll fight Tank for $25 million.
I'm waiting to see Shannon Briggs jump in it.
We're gonna start a Hungry for Hope boxing club.
Yeah, that's awesome. Rich is a good friend of mine.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, Rich. That's funny, man. Now I have a question. You know, our show I told you about. You know, this show didn't start where we are today. Me and Tim, I didn't know him, but we went through hard times. You know, we don't hide it. You know, I was incarcerated, and at the time, Tim was out in Kensington, you know, battling his own demons, and I was in maximum security. And now here we are 6 years later. We both had this dream, and we found each other. And Hungry for Hope's all just about spreading. We know what it's like to be down and out, man. It's just about spreading that hope. So I ask you, Joey, what does hope mean to you?
Hope means to me what? So, my firstborn daughter, her name is Jayla. Her middle name is Hope. You know what I mean? So, hope is everything to me. When my fiance first got pregnant, she had a miscarriage, and it was crazy because we first got together. You know what I mean? And she had a miscarriage within the first few months of us being together, and we went on like it was just crazy for the next few months. And then she found out she was pregnant again, and we went to the doctors, and they were like, listen, there's like a 3 to 5% chance, like, you have a sac, but there's no baby in the sac. And I was thinking, like, oh, man, it's going to happen again. Like, this is crazy. So he said, there's a 3 to 5% chance that there will be a baby there. We're still going to, like, take your levels and everything and come back next week. I'll give you another, what's it called?
Ultrasound?
Ultrasound, yeah, I couldn't think of the word. So I was actually fighting. I was fighting Juan Carlos Robles out in Chicago, and she went to the doctors, and she called me. I think it was the day of the weigh-ins, and she said, babe, they found a baby. And I was like, no. He said there was a 3 to 5% chance. Like, how's that even, like, how's it work? And she was like, no, listen, I'm telling you, they found a baby in the sack. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. So we wound up naming her Jayla Hope. You know what I mean? So hope is everything. You have to have hope in your life to be able to operate every day, you know?
That's amazing, man. I didn't know that story at all until you just told me it. And you said it right. I feel my whole thing is when people lose that hope, when they don't have hope, you named your daughter after hope. So that tells you that was when people lose that hope. When I lost my brother and I felt everything was against me, I had no hope. You do bad things. That's why I try to give people hope, because I know what no hope leads to, man. It leads to prisons and addictions and bad shit, man. Now, did you feel once you had your daughter, Jayla Hope, she was your first?
Yeah, she was my first.
Did you feel like you had more even to fight for?
I mean, she changed my life like instantly. From that point on, as soon as I held her, like I knew that everything was for her. You know what I mean? And then we went on to have more kids, and it just kind of piled up. You know.
How old is she now?
She's 8. She's 8 now. But my fiance had a baby before me, Hallie. And Hallie. I was in her life when she was 5 years old, so like she kind of grew up with me around 2. So I never say she's my stepdaughter, you know what I mean? I say she's my daughter, you know. But then I have Gia Marie, she'll be 6 in a couple weeks, and then I have Meadow, she's 3.
I like that name, Meadow.
Yeah,
it tells you the kind of guy you are, man. I've heard from people. Tim had you on the show, but I just don't let anybody on our show. I do my homework, man. I look in. Cool. I've told people before, I've turned down people with like big YouTube audiences and people who get us just because I wasn't feeling them, man. We can do what we want. I don't give a shit about views. And you could tell just you having that daughter and you considering your own, man. That says a lot about the kind of person you are. I'm sure she loves your boxing now. Does she watch the fights too?
Yeah,
that's Haley.
Yeah, well, they all kind of watch, but. It's even better because there's like stuff on YouTube about me and stuff, so they watch it on the TV. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was watching the one you mentioned, YouTube. I was watching the one video. We're gonna get in here. The video was your sparring partner was Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
To where Tim and you guys know him big. I know him just as the average boxing fan. He was a big time.
Yeah.
Is he the #1 contender, Tim, or Joey?
Yeah, I think he's fighting Fury for the they signed a 2-fight deal to fight for whatever title Fury has, one of them.
Now,
maybe 2.
It'll be the undisputed heavyweight championship.
Oh, well.
Fury has the WBC title.
Oh, yeah, but there's all like that. I mean, Trevor Bryan has a title. Everybody has a title.
I don't really think that counts. But Fury has the WBC title. Joshua has the WBA super title and the IBF title, so and the WBO, I think.
As long as you have
there's you and Joshua up on the
3 or 4 of them, it's unified.
That's us.
now you were his sparring partner when he was getting ready for the Ruiz fight, or
the first Ruiz fight.
Now got some not through you either. It was other people. They leaked it after he obviously lost that big upset to Ruiz, and then they leaked. I saw it. That you knocked him out in sparring. This is a guy who was considered, one of the best contenders. You knocked him out in sparring? How? I'll say you knocked him out.
I never said anything about it. It's crazy.
I never saw you once when I looked everything up. It was never you.
I never said anything about it. Yeah, I have no clue. But people were saying that I came out and said it just to get my 5 minutes of fame and stuff. Like,
you're not that kind of guy. I can tell.
I don't care about that.
You really don't. People have to be nuts to say that. But was that cool getting experience training with a guy?
Yeah, the past 10 years, most of the heavyweight champions in the past 10 years, like I was in camp with them or I was sparring them. You know what I mean? So it was pretty cool being in camp with most of them guys. Vladimir Klitschko, Shannon Briggs, Hasim Rahman. Deontay Wilder, you know what I mean? Like,
we got a picture of you training up there, a video.
Yeah. You were with Briggs early, right? With the Empire days.
Yeah. So they just formed a little promotion company. Greg Cohen and Shannon, they were working together, and I went to camp with Shannon Briggs.
Yeah, they had like Emmanuel Stewart as a consultant. I remember that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, man. They were doing a good thing there.
Now you mentioned a lot of these guys. We had one question from Rich. Rich wants to know, Tank, what's one person you haven't fought that you would like to?
Andy Ruiz.
Andy Ruiz?
Yeah,
that'd be a fight, man.
It's crazy because we were talking about it earlier.
I love that.
Jarrell Miller Jarrell Miller was getting ready to fight Anthony Joshua, and Andy Ruiz was fighting Alexander Dimitrenko. And I was out in California. We were cleaning out of our apartment, like we were getting out of there. And I was going to the gym every day just to like stay in shape. You know what I mean? Well, the one day Andy Ruiz came in looking for sparring. Like we knew he was coming in, so we were there, and we set it up like that. I would spar him. So I wound up doing like 6 rounds with him 6 weeks before he fought Anthony Joshua, and we didn't even know that he was getting the Joshua fight.
He wasn't scheduled.
He wasn't even scheduled to fight Anthony Joshua. So it was crazy how that worked, like how that happened.
We had even Janine just said that would be. She's a big boxing fan. She said that would be a great fight. It would be. I feel like you guys match up pretty.
Yeah. We kind of we're similar in a lot of ways. I think it would be a great fight. I would love the chance to fight Andy Ruiz.
You think it's in your future? I know.
We'll see. I mean, he's fighting Chris Arreola. Maybe I get a couple wins together, put something together, and then maybe we could fight
too.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Is that
man.
the one? That's the one Lamanna's fight.
Yeah.
Right, I might have to buy that pay-per-view.
Yeah,
I'm not happy about it.
I'm gonna buy it just because.
Yeah, Danny Netterville said he would love to see you fight Andy.
Yeah.
Now a lot of people they're interested. They want to know you got the fight this Saturday. Me and Tim are going at the ECW Arena, place I wrestled at, 2300 Arena they call it now, South Philly on Swanson. Can people watch your fight this week if they're not an audience?
Yeah, so there is an app. I forget the name.
Is it Fight?
What's that?
Fight TV?
No, it's not Fight. So it's a new app out. I think it's BX or BXNG or something.
So there's a way to watch it online, or I'll put it up on.
I'll send you guys the website to where you can post it and
I
all.
thought maybe Go Fight Live was making a comeback.
Yeah, right. I spent a lot of money on Go Fight Live with like my fights and stuff, and they went out of business.
Wasn't that who Tim was affiliated with?
Yeah.
And tell me about the Go Fight Live. Now you brought it up. I love hearing you two
So
talk about it.
I always say it was ahead of its time when it came to internet, like
It really was, man.
sports pay-per-views, because it was still, you had to log onto a website and watch it. They didn't have an app. They had Mark Abrams would always kill it and commentary.
Yeah.
But they would always do like the local shows, the shows you couldn't watch on TV. They would get shows from different countries, stuff like that you couldn't normally.
And what was it? It was on stream. It was on.
Yeah, it was on stream. Like you couldn't really watch it on TVs back then. You couldn't do that. You had to sit in front of a computer and watch it. Most of Joey's fights were on there.
Yeah.
What was your connection with them, Tim?
I was their director of, what was the probably made up title that we came up? Director of PR and sales or something.
It's funny because I've talked to people and I like just drop. I'm talking to like some big time people, even in like wrestling. I feel like a couple even guys who are in UFC now, and I drop my co-host name. I'm like, oh, Tim Cook. They're like, oh, Tim Cook is from Fight Live. Or they always say it. I don't know what it is. I'm just like, yeah, I guess. I don't know. They all know him from it.
Before social media was like real cool for live updates, I would be sitting there watching every fight going on Go Fight Live post, and then sending out press releases.
That's awesome, man. My second pro fight was on Go Fight Live.
Was Tim commentating it, or did he used to commentate them too, Tim?
Nah, I think I might have did one with Go Fight Live. I was doing them with Future of the Game. That was like the next version. Shout out to Orlando Lozado, but we kind of moved on from that. Go Fight Live got bought out by Alliance MMA. They went public. They folded. Blah blah blah. Usual story.
Now, who you said your second fight was on there? Who was your second fight? You win it, lose it, draw?
No, I knocked the guy out. His name was Ricardo Johnson. I knocked him out in like 40-something seconds.
Now, you just like 2 seconds without knowing the question, you came up with his name. Do you know you got 20 wins, 8 losses, 4 draws? You know all your. I'm not gonna ask you.
Yeah.
But you kind of know that. Just tells you.
I know.
You're a student of the game.
I could even tell you my amateur fights. It's pretty crazy because John Scully says it a lot that he can name every one of his amateur fights, the date, what weight it was. Like I'm like that too. I remember most of my national titles, like who I fought in the regionals, who I fought in the nationals. It's pretty crazy, man.
John Scully should be a future guest. All that stuff he's doing for boxers.
Yo, man, John is the man.
I bought some stuff off of him. That was raising money for
That's
Pritchard
awesome.
Cologne and all those guys.
Yeah.
Now you say all this, but we got a serious question from Uncle Joe. Do you think you can beat Uncle Mike in his prime?
That's a tough question.
No, it's a question. It's not tough. It's just answer the question.
Yeah.
Yes or no?
I don't know. Mike,
you gotta know, man. Come on.
Mike Castle was a legend.
Mike Castle.
Yeah, that was his name, my Uncle Mike.
Yeah. That's funny, man. And Danny Netherville says you're just getting started, man. Only 30 with the resume and everything. That's what I thought, man. Were you 30 now?
Yeah, I'm 30.
I think your best days are definitely ahead of you, man. Do you feel with this fight coming off? I feel like that pandemic. I know even for me, having that year kind of to sit in and think about what I want. Do you feel you really kind of looked at your goals and your future a little more serious? Or
yeah, like I said, like that the year layoff, it kind of opened me up. Like I missed boxing, and I know that I still have a lot more fights left in me. I know that I could keep competing with these guys and keep fighting these guys,
Yeah, and like you said earlier, when you get something taken away from you, I feel like you cherish it a little more. Did you not have in boxing? Were you training all the time?
You know what? I started training people out back of my house. You know what I mean? Like I was
you were training
mitts for people. Yeah, I was like I missed
whatever
it. You know what I mean? Like. So I was training people out back of my house, and then I'm opening a gym now too. So that's
where are you opening a gym at?
So it's in the Frankfurt section of the city.
Yeah,
it's actually not too far from my house.
Yeah, I'm over there all the time, man.
Yeah.
When's that? Can you tell us anything about it?
Yeah. I mean, we're all trying to figure it out, get everything together, and then the fight kind of put a little halt on it, just because I don't really have the time to really put in because I'm training and stuff, the kids with school and everything. So after this fight, I'm really going to buckle down and get it open.
Nice.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Are you a homeschool teacher too? No.
Not really. My fiance took care of all that, and God bless her, man. It's pretty tough.
It's crazy. Just like put in the big picture. I got into wrestling. I had no kids. I was like 25, 24-year-old punk, and I had no responsibility. I was able to give everything. I couldn't imagine, you have a wife and you're a stand-up guy. You're a good family guy, a great father. Sounds like a great husband. Everybody said great things about you. How's that juggling? Like you got to train. You're a top contender, heavyweight. You're one of the better. How is it juggling all that?
It's tough. Thank God Maria does what she does, because I don't know where I would be without her, really, because she handles most of the stuff at home while I do the stuff that I need to do, training and working and stuff like that. So it's she's the real MVP.
Yeah, we want to thank her and your kids and your trainer just for giving us this hour with you, man.
Definitely, that's cool, man.
It's pretty cool that you agreed. Come do this. I know, we're taking away, I'm sure, all the free time you want to have with your kids and your family, but it's awesome to have you here in the studio. So I just want to thank them
awesome
for
to be here. Yeah.
for giving us an hour of your time. I know Tim's excited for the fight this week. Tim, what do you think about the fight?
We're just booing them the whole time.
No! I'm bringing, like I said, I'm a wrestler. I'm going to bring signs.
Yeah.
Suck it.
Yeah,
There's your
that's
fight.
awesome, man.
Yeah, the one guy used to come train me, Sean Waltman, X-Pac.
Yeah.
He was living in Philly. He was going through some hard times. I think he was living maybe a halfway house. I don't know. But he would stop by and train us. Our training facility was like 5 minutes outside the city, and he would stop over, and I was like, that was like one of the moments when you're like with the guy you watch. I'm sure you get it when you're around some guys you like idolized.
Yeah. No, I was a huge wrestling fan growing up, so that's awesome, man. That's pretty cool. DX was my favorite group.
DX? Yeah, they're that's what, I was a wrestling fan, like literally, as a kid, I had some learning disabilities. I'd get bullied when I was like young, and then I'd see these guys on wrestling, and I'd see like Hulk Hogan, the Legion of Doom was Ultimate Warrior, and I was like, if I'm them, nobody's ever, I wasn't as big as I am. I was like, nobody's ever gonna bully me if I'm them. So like from age 5, I said, I'm gonna be fucking Legion of Doom. Nobody's gonna do anything about it. I'm gonna beat up all these people who are picking on me, and then 20 years later, people thought I was joking, and there I am. Like, I kind of kept it a secret because it was kind of like embarrassing. out of nowhere at 25. Like, I'm going for my dream. You know, I trained for like a year. I was in the best shape of my life, and you know, not everybody was very supportive. But how did you feel when did you have a lot of support with your family doing you know, it's not like you're working for the city or it's a different occupation.
I do have a lot of support. You know what I mean? My family is very supportive. I have a lot of friends that are really supportive, you know, so I have a great fan base.
You can tell you sold out of tickets already.
Yeah.
Your wife's been real supportive, you said, right?
Yeah.
She's been with you for long?
10 years we've been together. But listen, man, I was away in California, and like she would stay here. And
how long were you out there training?
So off and on, I was there for 5 years. You know what I mean? I would have a fight, go home for a week or two, and then go back to California. Yeah, there you go.
Want to thank her.
Yeah. So
how was that being away from Did you have kids at that time?
Yeah, no, it was 2015 on.
All right.
On until last year, I was training out there. It's tough, man. Like, I'm the kind of guy that wants to kiss my kids before they go to sleep. You know what I mean? And me being in California, like away, and all I could do was FaceTime them. It was like that was really hard on me. Like, some nights I would cry myself to sleep just thinking about it. You know what I mean? But
I feel you on that. My kid's in California, and I'm here. FaceTime. Well, Google Duo, and I don't have an Apple phone.
No,
but,
you know that was always hard getting away. I didn't have kids, but being away from your family. Like when I was in wrestling, I was in the zone, man. My first year was the greatest year I had pro wrestling. Like I was just in the zone. Nothing was gonna stop me from being the greatest ever.
Right.
And then like I said, I hit my brother's death, and shit got off path. But at that time, I know I'd be away from family, but does it motivate you? I know you're away from them, but knowing you're doing this for the bigger picture, you're doing this so they can live like queens and don't have to go through what you went through.
Yeah, that's what it was. That was really what it was about. You know what I mean? I was away making the money to what we needed to be comfortable. You know what I mean? And I mean that's just what we had to deal with.
Yeah, man. I can imagine they drive you every day. Are they going to be at the fight on Saturday? Is your wife there?
No, man. The next day's Easter, so we're kind of like we're kind of stuck in the middle. You know what I mean?
All right,
so
you get the eggs and candy. I'm gonna go fight.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta
meet back here in a couple hours.
She's gonna stay home and do what she has to do with that.
Rich says you're gonna win by a KO in round 4. What do you think, Joey? What does a tank think?
I hope it doesn't go that long. I don't want a 4-round fight. I want like 1 or 2.
Viral KO that you had that like went viral where you just I forget who the fight was.
Probably Enabong Umahete. Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying that word, brother. I don't do words.
Yeah, he was from Wisconsin, I think, originally from
very
Nigeria.
Wisconsin name.
Yeah.
Must be from the south part of Wisconsin or something. I got family there.
Yeah, I hit him with a hook and he was out. That was right before I fought Amir Mansour. That fight kind of set it up. Like I needed that to get that fight with Amir Mansour.
Yeah.
Like it's a spectacular knockout, and that's what happened.
So Joey, 5 years from now, Hungry for Hope's bigger than Howard Stern. Me and Tim are the biggest thing in the radio. What is the tank? What are you? What are you? A heavyweight champion? Are you boxing?
By that time, yeah.
35 years old.
Bridgerweight champion.
What do you see? What's your dream? Your aspirations, man?
Basically to just be successful for my kids and my family. You know what I mean? My fiance, my kids. Just to be able to give them a great life, and I'll do whatever it takes. So in 5 years, I mean, I could be training world champions. I could be a world champion myself. It really all depends.
Now, do you have you said training? You're from Tykone, you're over in Frankfurt, where your gym's going to be. Mm-hmm. Do you have a lot of young kids? I'm sure people look up to you, man. Young kids. Like I said, that's what we kind of use the show for. We bring on guests who can inspire people, not even people going through hard things, but so they don't go through hard things. So they see you and say, I'm going to go on this path. I'm going to be the tank. Yeah. Do you have a lot of kids that look up to you in the Tykone or Philly area in general?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I do. I mean, like I said, like I always have like a lot of support. So I think I do. Like, I could be anywhere and at any time, and somebody would be like, "Yo, Joey," and I feel bad because I probably don't even know who they are. But it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I think I do have fans looking up and kids that could look up to me because, I mean, I have a lot of knowledge to give out in boxing and kind of in life too from the stuff that I've been through and the past that I've had, you know.
Yeah, you know, Philly gets a bad rap sometimes, but I honestly feel like if you're a local Philadelphian or even if you're on our sports team, whatever, and you're a hardworking, stand-up, blue-collar guy who goes out there and, you know, whatever living you're trying to make, boxing, professional sports, the city of Philly gets behind you. You know, we're the city of Rocky.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, a guy like you're like Taikone's Rocky, man. Were you a Rocky fan? Did you watch that as a kid?
Yeah, of course. Everybody watched
Rocky. Run up the steps?
Yeah. Actually, I've never been to the steps or anything, but some of the press releases and stuff for the Jennings fight was at, like, we took a picture in front of the Rocky statue and on the stairs and everything.
You weren't at the art museum until you fought Jennings?
Yeah.
Yeah, get him out of here. What kind of guests do you bring in? I ran him up like 30 times. I've lived Rocky. Yeah, that's an iconic thing. Philly's a great, like, even somebody mentioned when you brought up Blue Horizon, they're like, that's where, like, every good Philly fighter got their start.
Yeah, the Blue Horizon was the best, man.
How does it feel fighting out of a city like Philly with such a rich fighting history and everything? Is it something different? Have you noticed other fighters, they don't have that same rich history?
Yeah, Philly is the best fighting city there is. You know what I mean? Everybody says, or they say, like, oh, I'm from Detroit or I'm from California, but they really don't have the background that Philadelphia does.
Yeah.
So that actually means a lot to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Even and Danny said he's sure kids watch you. They watch a dude like you who came from nothing, and you trained so hard, and now you're training with some of these big time names. That has to inspire the youth, man. How does that feel knowing you're like they're Rocky?
Yeah, I mean it feels good. It feels good.
I'm sure that inspires you just like your kids, man.
Yeah, it does.
And any of them people watching, say a 10-year-old from Taikone, man, they're a fan of yours and they're watching. Shit might not be easy for them right now. They might be going, you know, hard at home life and everything. And what would you have to say for them about their dreams and just never giving up? What would you say?
Just see, when I was younger, like, I wish that I took advice from the old guys, and it's always like a cliche thing, like you always think you know what you're talking about and all that, but really, like, they have to believe in the knowledge that the older crowd has, whether it's a parent or an uncle or just an older friend. You know what I mean? Always take advice and listen to them, because you know, like you said, you never know what people have been through. So if they're dropping some knowledge on you and you don't know if it's the right thing that they're saying or something, you know what I mean? So always listen and pay attention and take advice, because that could give you the next step to get to where you're going.
Yeah, take the cotton out of your ears and put it in your mouth. That's what I was taught. You know, it basically just means listen and stop talking.
Yeah.
When you're younger.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's amazing. Just, you know, your story's inspiring, man.
Thank you.
And Tim, you have anything before we get them out of here? I know you guys go way back.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for coming on.
No
It's
problem.
been a
man.
while.
It was fun. Yeah.
This time it's in
Feels
studio.
good. Yeah,
Not
it's
a bunch
awesome,
of us on phone.
Yeah, and we're gonna have this within like 24 hours. This will be on Apple iTunes if people want to listen, Spotify, iHeart.
Awesome.
We'll have it on Facebook, YouTube. It's already live on that.
Can't wait to cheer on your opponent on Saturday.
And we did
Joe Jones from North Jersey, I think.
I knew his name.
Giants fan.
Yeah, Giants.
Okay.
Man. Get out of here.
Yeah. So we posted. I think Brian posted where you can watch your fight. You're going to be there Saturday at the ECW Arena, 2300 Arena. We'll be there ringside watching you. Hungry for Hope Nation, we want to thank you for tuning in. Tank, we want to thank you for joining
Thank
us,
you. I
man.
appreciate it, man. I had a lot of fun.
And we want to give a shout out to Yanni the Greek. He's our sports guy. He's under the weather. He couldn't come in today. Yanni, thanks for following us in the chat room, doing everything you do behind the scenes with the videos.
Taking cheap shots at me in the chat.
Hungry for Hope Nation, we're out of here.
Oh.